Hey everybody, welcome to The Flip. Today we have Sarah. She's on YouTube as the Socially Awkward Seller. Sarah, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So tell everybody a little bit of what your channel's about.
My channel is really a social outlet for me because I'm a socially awkward person and I work from home by myself. But I also look to give new sellers or even some seasoned sellers some tips and tricks to improve your eBay business, to look for different places and different items to source, and just to be okay when you are not the alpha seller. And that's a big thing I think is a stumbling block for some folks is they feel like they're not as successful as other folks because you see in chat rooms or in Facebook pages these folks that are, knocking 10,000 a month out of the park. And that's not for everybody. That mold or that pattern does not work for everybody. So, this is a place for even small scale sailors that are just looking for some more insights.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of your videos and it's a lot of realistic advice, which I can certainly appreciate. Some of these guys on here, you know, trying to convince you that you can sell $1 million on eBay in a year, and it's not real life. But I was watching your videos as a breath of fresh air to compare to some of the stuff that's on there.
And that's, I came up in the last couple of years selling on eBay, watching those videos. And it made me feel terrible because my business was not at that point. And, I wanted to let folks know that it doesn't have to be there. You can make a goal and not hit it and still be okay. And I think that's where people struggle, and they're hard on themselves. They feel bad about themselves because they don't hit that mark. I rarely hit that mark, but it's the striving toward it that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as long as you continue to grow with your business, I think you're fine. If you look back on what you did a year ago and you're doing better than you are, then that's great. And if you're doing better next year than you did this year, then you should really, that's something to be happy about. It's all relative. You shouldn't try to hit these crazy numbers these guys are claiming that they do, because some of them, you just wonder how genuine it is.
Right. And also, I like to help folks realize too that there are different ways to go about this. You've got your clothing sellers, and their typical target price is different than somebody maybe that's selling vintage electronics or vintage kitchen appliances or collectibles. There are a lot of different ways to come at this, and you just have to adjust yourself to that. Folks that are selling clothing for $18 a pop are selling a ton of it to be successful. So, it's just that there are so many ways to go about this, and there's so much out there to buy that I want to show folks that there's different ways to do this.
Yeah. What types of items specifically do you like to look for?
I do a lot of toys, and I've gotten into a lot of parting out. So, and I'll part out just about anything. Like last week, or earlier this week, I sold the blades off of a salad shooter just because there's a market for it.
Wow.
Um, and that promotes, that their item that may be broken, stop it from going to a landfill because they can find a replacement part for it. I have bought quite a few Kirby vacuum cleaner parts because they're pretty easy to find, and usually really cheap. Um, so I like to part out things. I love, love, love to find the item that I don't even know what it is. I mean, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I don't even know what this contraption does, but I look it up and see if I can figure out what it is. That's the fun stuff. But
Yeah.
then I have a lot of bread and butter stuff too. I hate selling clothes. It's just not for me. But I do like some shoes and some specialty clothing items, like maybe leather chaps, for example. Um, just a little bit of everything.
Okay. Okay. What do you like to find your stuff?
A lot of different avenues. Of course, it's garage sale season right now, and I find that church thrift sales are just usually a load of treasure. I mean, and the prices are right because most of the time it's the parishioners and the members of the church that are donating the items, so the church gets them for free. They're willing to price them reasonably just to get them out the door. So I find that that's a great place to source, and of course, garage sales. But there are so many other places besides thrift stores, and those can be the outlet, the Goodwill outlet. I've gone to the one in Cincinnati and the one in Dayton. Um, Also, online auctions, the type that you have. Also, live auctions. I love live auctions. Those are great. I bought pallets before. Um, just there's everywhere. There's stuff everywhere, and also do some retail arbitrage too that I even sell on eBay. I do have an Amazon account. I do have some things at Amazon. It is not my favorite place to sell, and it feels like the world there is getting smaller as they restrict more items. But you can do retail arbitrage and sell on eBay as well. You'd be surprised the items that are sold on eBay.
Yeah, yeah, I've had luck with retail arbitrage on eBay, also. And for those watching, it's funny you mentioned the auction website. That's how Sarah and I met. A friend of hers named Chris found me on YouTube and found the website. And then I'm guessing, did she tell you about my website, and that's how you two met up at the warehouse?
We were actually meeting to go thrifting in Cincinnati, and she had to pick up some stuff at your warehouse. And she's like, just come here. I want you to meet John, and you can look at the stuff because we actually previewed stuff for the auction while we were there. And it's a really cool place. Lots of stuff, lots of treasures. And John, how do your auctions run?
They
From Monday
start
to
on,
Sunday?
yep, Monday to Sunday. Yep, yep, yeah. That's
Nice.
so neat. You two are thrifting in Cincinnati. It's such a small world. Running into people within my city and the YouTube community that are kind of intermingling. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, actually, Chris is a subscriber of mine. I didn't know her before YouTube, before starting YouTube. But I started putting out serious videos in January, and she just happened to leave a comment that this video really resonated with her, and I ended up hooking up with her on Facebook, and that's how I met her. She was just a subscriber, so I'm really trying to push outside my comfort zone to go meet a stranger in a city I'm not that familiar with.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's been great. So yeah, really impressed with your auction site is too. It's really cool. I like the items that are there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's we're always fighting and trying to improve it. Right now we're kind of going through a phase where we're trying to filter out some of the not so great items so that we can have room for the better items. And that's kind of
Mhm.
the reason we're doing live auctions now too, is some of the lesser items can go on there and we can put the better stuff on the website.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. I wish I was closer to Cincinnati, but
Yeah.
I'm here in the middle of the state in Columbus.
Yeah. You said you guys have an online auction site up there, don't you?
We do, and it's similar to what you do there, except the location changes. Like the pickup location will
Oh, they'll
change.
do it at each house instead of having a
Yeah,
warehouse.
exactly. There is a main warehouse, and they do hold auctions out of there frequently, but you could be um, bidding on an auction practically anywhere in the city, at any suburb. Of course, you know that ahead of time, but sometimes that can be a little frustrating because I may only win two $1 items or something, and I have to drive 30 minutes to get it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we do have something similar, and they do a lot of pallet type auctions where they're auctioning off individual items or estate sales kind of thing.
Okay. So you did mention you like garage sales and auctions and thrift stores. Do you have one that's kind of your favorite, your bread and butter that you like to do?
Yeah, there is one. There are a couple actually, but there are two thrift stores that are one's within 10 minutes, the other one's within 15 minutes, and they're kind of affiliated, but they're both run by the Mennonite church that is here. And I find that they have some of the best items at the best price, and you just never know where you're gonna what you're gonna find there. A couple of months ago, I sold a horse measuring stick that I found there for $4. I sold it for like $30.
Wow.
You just never know what you're going to find. So I do find a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned earlier how church sales are always so cheap, and you're right, people donate the stuff, and the church that's selling it doesn't have that emotional attachment to the item, and they don't know what it costs new. So they're just like pricing it to move, as opposed to garage sales. You go and it's like, oh, I paid $500 for this, and I need to get this much for it, and it's just a whole different animal.
It really is. You know, when you're looking at people and their personal attachment to items, and that's kind of what got me started reselling was, um, you know, it was either you're going to have to start selling stuff or you're going to become a hoarder at some point. You
Yeah.
know, you'll be that lady with 50 cats and, you know, stuff stacked to the ceiling. So, I mean, it was never that far along, but I just recognized that I can't use all of the things that I want to buy. So that's kind of what got me into selling on eBay. And I started selling several years ago, but there was not the community that there is now. So you make a lot of costly mistakes, and there's nowhere to turn. There wasn't at that time to get good constructive feedback on why did I fail in this particular sale. So you know, I was just very disheartened at that time, and I just quit doing it, and then started to renew interest in it again, and started watching YouTube videos. And I found a couple of Facebook pages, and they've really accelerated my growth. Um, you know, because a shipping mistake is a huge mistake. I mean, it can be really, really costly. So you know, I was able to learn and grow from those YouTube videos. And my channel is also about paying some of that back. And I try to do some of the things that I haven't seen in other videos, like exactly walk you through how to ship an item as far as the eBay platform is concerned. And this is how you pack an item like this, because there's not a lot of good tutorials about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're right with that, and the community seems to be great. I've only, kind of been joining this YouTube reseller community now for maybe 6 weeks, and it's awesome. I mean, the outreach of everybody, and everybody seems to be willing to help, and they all got pretty good advice for the most part.
Hmm. Um, and you're right for the most part. There are always going to be those folks that are in a group, especially in some of those larger Facebook groups, where the sky is always falling, and you know, we're doomed, and eBay's out to get me,
Yeah,
and you know, or you know, this seller is going to take advantage of, or this buyer is going to take advantage of me. There's always going to be those folks, but that's probably their general attitude, you know, towards life anyway.
yeah.
My answer to eBay is only out for eBay is, well, of course it is, because
Their
they're a
business. Yep,
business, just
exactly.
like you are pretty much out to take care of you.
Yeah,
I mean, we're humans. That's what we do. So you shouldn't be surprised by that. And, you know, innately people are good. So every buyer is not trying to take advantage. Um, you know, so I think that can be disheartening for a new seller too, to see that negative kind of, um, you know, merry-go-round that can be in some of the groups. So try to bring some of that knowledge to light as well. You know, that
yeah.
it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Um, One of my next videos will be on the summer seller update, because I think that I used to be a corporate trainer. That was my job before I decided that it wasn't for me anymore. And my job was to take these legal decisions that related to our company, and new practices that we would have at work, and explain them in layman's terms. And I think that I can take those skills and take these updates and just make them a lot easier for people to digest.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm going to try for tomorrow, hopefully, is kind of breaking that down and letting people know really what this means.
yeah. I think people appreciate that because those when they do updates to those agreements, there's always so much you have to sift through and read to actually get the content that you're looking for to see what the real changes are.
And sometimes it's not very well written.
Hmm.
So you're left questioning what it is. So I'm going to do some research and come up with some talking points about the summer seller update and some other things. So that's really what I'm trying to bring to folks.
Yeah. Have you ever considered doing a live YouTube show?
I know that you just did one, and I'm kind of interested in that. You know, my huge fear is that I'll get there and it'll crash and burn. But but yeah, I think that that would be so exciting to be a part of a live show and to field live questions and to get input from people in real time.
Yeah, I was afraid of that too, of it crashing and burning. What I tried to do was I scheduled an event on Facebook to, invite friends and family, and then I also scheduled the event in YouTube, so all my subscribers, it would kind of show up in their feed like, oh, Cincinnati Picker's going to go live at 8 o'clock, so to kind of
Hmm.
give people a heads up with it. But yeah, I was happy. Not a ton of people showed up. I think I had maybe 20 at the peak, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I don't have 200 subscribers yet, so that would be 10%. That would be pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
for just starting to do live shows and where they're not regularly scheduled, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of your subscribers, everybody out there, if you are not already subscribed to Sarah's channel, it is Socially Awkward Seller. Please go subscribe. I checked your subscribers. You're at 178 right now. So if we could get you over 200 to get you over that landmark, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I also have a very small Facebook group, and I'm really targeting those folks that don't want to go into a room with 25,000 people and ask a question. And that is socially awkward sellers with an S at the end at Facebook. So, yeah, if you've got some questions that you want to ask, if there is a particular um, process that you would like me to go over in a video, I'm more than happy to do that. If I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out and put that up.
That's awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Mhm.